Hey guys, today I'm going to be showing you how to change your character mesh for smart AI characters. In this video I'm going to be retargeting the animations included with smart AI to a different skeleton. Something to keep in mind is if your new character mesh that you want to use for your AI is using the UE4 skeleton already, all you have to do is go to your character's skeleton, delete it, and when the delete panel comes up you can just replace reference and choose the included skeleton that comes with smart AI. That way your character will now be using the smart AI skeleton, and all you will have to do then is go to your the smart AI character that you want to change the mesh for, change the mesh, and it will all work because it's using the same skeleton. But for this video I'm going to be showing you retargeting. I'm going to be using a Miximo character, but this will also work for custom characters as well. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to your new character skeleton. So for me, I'm going to be using the SWAT character, and you're going to go to its skeleton. And once in here, we're going to go to the retarget manager. And if it's not already set, you can select humanoid rig, like that. And that will bring up these options here. Now, for Miximo characters, there's a list that UE4's already made for us. I'll link it in the description, but that will just tell us which bones to set the target to for each one of these UE4 skeleton bones. If you're using a custom skeleton, it's a little bit different. You'll have to go through your skeleton and pick the closest bones to these bones that are on the UE4 skeleton. So for example, spine 1 would be whatever spine bone you would say have here. But for us, I'm just going to follow the list that I'll link down below. So I'll be back once I've filled out all of these. One other thing before I do that is these are the basic bones, these are the ones that are needed. You're also going to want to do the show advanced ones. So these are all the fingers and arm twists. Again, Miximo characters will be linked below, but if you're using a custom skeleton you will need to go through and pick your equivalent bone to each one of these. Once that's all done, it should look something like this. So I've gone through and set all of the equivalent bones on to the Miximo bones, you can see here, and I've also done the advanced ones. Something to keep in mind is not all of them will have equivalents. So for the Miximo character, it doesn't have any of these bones that are just set to none here. So if your skeleton doesn't, that's fine. You can leave it as none. So now we've done that, we can save this. And we need to go to our smart AI, then to meshes, skeletal, and we're going to select our smart AI skeleton. And we're going to do the same thing here, but it actually auto does it for us. I'm just going to hit auto mapping, and that's set all of our bones up for us already. The next thing we're going to do is we need to pose this our skeleton to a T pose so it matches our Miximo character. So to do that, we're going to do modify pose and use current pose. And then to make this a little bit easier, I'm going to go to character, bones, and all hierarchy so we can see the bones here. I'm going to drop my rotation snapping to 5 degrees so we have a little bit more control. And we're going to try and select these bones to make them straight. So we're going to straighten this out by about 45 degrees. And we also want to bring these arms in as well, so I'm going to attempt to select this bone and straighten it out by about 25 degrees. Now, the quality of your retargeted animations can depend a lot on how you pose your character. I'm just doing this quickly for the sake of the video, but if when you retarget your animations, you get strange results where arms are distorted or wrists are distorted. You may want to spend some more time getting these arms as straight as possible. I'm going to straighten these out a little bit as well here. and that can directly affect how your retargeted animations look. So I'm going to straighten these hands out as well by about 10 degrees, like this. So that looks okay. So then we'll go to modify pose and we'll click use current pose again, and we'll save this. So now we've got both of our skeletons ready for retargeting. Something you can do just as like a test to see how well your character is going to retarget is you can just pick a random animation in our smart AI animations, say hands up for example, and you can right click on it and go to retarget anim assets and duplicate anim asset, select your skeleton and hit retarget. This will create just this animation, retarget it to your new character. Then you can open that animation that it creates, and you can check to see how well the retarget's gone. If it hasn't gone well, you can try and adjust your the pose that we just did for our UE4 skeleton to try and get a better result. But for this video, I'm just going to go straight in, and we're going to go Smart AI, then Animations, and we're going to right click our AI character animation here. This is taking a while to load, so I'll just, oh, there we go. Then we're going to go to Retarget Anims, and we'll do exactly the same as what I just showed. We'll select our skeleton, and we'll hit Retarget. And that will retarget all of our base animations here. And it's also given us a new animation blueprint for our new character. Next we need to go into this blueprint, and we can take a look and we can see that it's playing our animation. Now it looks pretty good. So there's a few changes that we need to make in here. We need to go to our anim graph, and we've got 3 layer blend nodes. So all we need to do is select those, go to the details, then layer setup, and just click through these drop downs. And in here this is set to spine 01, but this character doesn't have that bone, it has just spine. So I'm going to change this to spine. If you're using a custom character, this will be the first bone, first spine bone on your character, so the one I'm showing here in the preview. So you'll need to name it whatever that bone is called on your skeleton. Next we have clavicle left. Again, this is the bone just coming off here, the first sort of bone of the arms. This is the left side, so for me that's left shoulder. And then the next one is the same, but it's the right side, so right shoulder, like that. Once we've done that, that should be everything in this blueprint, so we can compile and save it. Next we need to actually set our character mesh, so we're going to exit out of this, and I'm going to go to Smart AI, Blueprints, AI Characters, Examples, and for the sake of this video I'll do a civilian, and I'm going to duplicate my existing civilian, and we can open this up. You don't have to duplicate it, you can modify the ones that are already there, but I'm just going to duplicate mine. Then we're going to go to the viewport, and I'm going to select the mesh, and we're going to change that now to our swat, or this would be your character mesh. And we've got him there. And now we need to set our anim class. One thing that you might want to do after you retarget your animations here is you might want to rename this to something a bit easier to select out. So I'm just going to call this swat, like that. One other thing to keep in mind is when you retarget things, it will put all of the animations and the blueprint and everything in the content folder. So that's where all of that is if you have trouble finding that. So now we've named that swat, we can go back to our character. We can go to anim class, and we can see we've got our swat anim class here. And with that set, he's now playing his animations. So next we need to retarget the rest of our animations in Smart AI. So we're going to close out that blueprint. We're going to go to Smart AI, then to Animations, and here we're going to do a filter. I'm going to search for animations. We'll tick this on, and we're going to untick Animation Blueprint. And then we can do Control A, right click, go to Retarget, and select the option. Hit our skeleton and hit retarget. This might take a while depending on your computer, so just give it a minute, but mine's done now. So we can go to content now. You can see that we've got one thing you'll want to do is go to content and then remove all filters. So now we've got all of our animations from Smart AI in here. You can move these into different folders if you like to make it a bit more organized. So we've got all of our animations set up now. So we want to go back to our new AI we created, so AI characters, examples, civilians, and then we've got our AI civilian here. You can go back to the viewport, and we're going to select our AI component, and I'm going to make my details panel a bit bigger here, and we can hide the do not edit section, and we'll actually do a search. We'll do default. There we go. So we're showing our default animations. So you can see here it's still using our other characters' animations. So what we need to do is we need to go through and set them to our new animations we just retargeted. And you can tell that they're your character animations because the thumbnail will be your character. So we're just going to go through and do that quickly, like this. So now we've set all of our default anims up, but there's also other animations in here. So a good thing we can do is we can right click our default anims, hit copy, and then we're going to search AI animations. You can see that brings up all of our different behavior animations. So we've done default, so we'll hide that one for now. Now we can just paste in our flee animations, search animations, and you can just go through and paste in all of these. Obviously, if you want different animations for these different behaviors, then you'd probably want to go through after pasting in all of these and change them out for the animations that you want to use. But it's a good idea to just go through and change all of these to animations that you know work on this character now. So we'll just quickly finish this up. So now all of our animations for all of the basic movement animations for this character are set up. Now going down into the rest of the settings, there are other animations set in the AI component. So you'd want to do exactly the same as what we've just done, just slowly going through and changing these out for the new characters animations. I won't go through and do all of them because there are quite a few. But if you search for something like animation, most of them should, if we hide the AI animations, most of the animations will show up here. If you get, later on, if you're using the kit and suddenly your character starts T-posing, it's probably because he's trying to play an animation not meant for him. So you'll just want to go into your AI component and make sure that all these animations are changed out for his animations. The next step is we're going to need to add our sockets to this character's skeleton. So we're going to open up both of our skeletons. So for me that's the SWAT skeleton. And we need to go to our Smart AI, meshes, skeletal, and then to our UE4 skeleton. Now you can see we've got sockets on here. All of these sockets need to be added to our new skeleton. So I'll show you a couple of examples. So for example, our left hand melee trace socket, the names of these sockets need to be exactly the same on your new skeleton. So this is a left hand socket, so we'll select our left hand, right click and do add socket. We'll paste in the name. Now this socket doesn't need to be moved at all, so we can leave it there. But for example, our right hand M4, which I'm going to copy the name of again, this has a different location, which is more in the palm of the hand. So over on our SWAT skeleton, I'm going to select our right hand, right click it, do add socket, we're going to paste in the name, and we're also going to want to change its location. You will probably want to spend a bit more time making sure that it's a good place, but we're going to move it more to the palm of the hand so you can see it there. If your weapons aren't sitting in the character's hand quite right, you can go into the socket view here, and you can move the sockets to adjust the location of where the weapon will be. But that's an example. You guys are going to want to go through and add each one of these sockets in roughly the same place that they are on this character to on your character, making sure you don't forget the spine socket, which is behind the character, and the pelvis socket over here, which is more off to the left. So you're going to want to do that now. So once you've finished adding all of the sockets to your skeleton, there's one other thing we need to look at, and that's our holdables. Now, if we go to Smart AI, Blueprints, AI, and then holdables, we have our weapons. Now, weapons have animations set in them. These are all set to our default character. Now, you can either do you can either open up the existing weapons and change these to your character's animations, and that way your character can use them, but the included character will no longer be able to use them because the animations won't be right. Or you can create a duplicate of the included weapon and say call it underscore swat, and then you could open this weapon up, change all the animations out in here to your characters. There are, if I search for animation, there are the animations for each behavior, like in the AI component, that you can go through and change. So I'll show you quickly. We'll do it for this one. Jump, loop, and idle. So we've set all of our animations for the default, and we can now copy it like we did in the AI component, and we can paste those in and go through each one of these behaviors and just paste those in, which makes it a lot quicker to change these over. And you're going to want to do it for all of these, but you've seen me do it before. There are also other animations in the weapon that you'll probably want to go through and change, but now this weapon, once you've changed all the animations, can be used for your SWAT character. So I'll show you how to select the SWAT character weapon if you want to use that. We'll go into our new character blueprint, and we'll search for starting, and in here we can set our starting holdable and our starting range weapon and melee weapon. So instead of picking the original M4, we'd pick the SWAT version, because that's the one that we've set up all the animations for, and now our character can use that weapon. The one last thing that you may have to change, you probably won't, but just in case you do, I'll show you it, is we need to go to Blueprints, then to our AI functions here, and in here we've got the isHitbox function, and there's an array here, and in this array it contains a bone name and a hitbox. And what this basically tells the system is if the hit bone has the word spine in it, it's a chest hitbox. So we don't have to go through and do every single bone, we only have to do certain words. So any spine bone will return hit chest box. Same for, if I can click this, any bone that has arm in it, we know it's an arm, so we return the arms hitbox. Now if your character has strange bone naming in it, which it might do, you may have to go into here and just add a new element and set the, say, a word that all of the arm bones have here. So I'll just put arm spelt funny, so with a couple of A's, and then I'll tell it that's a arm hitbox. So now any bone that has this word in its name, the system will consider an arm, and it will deal the arm damage that you have set in your weapons or your smart AI component. So once that's done, we can test out our AI. So I've just put a few in our level, and I can hit play, and we can see our AI are wandering around. They're using their own animations, and we have our own custom character. So that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you for watching. If you have any problems or comments, feel free to leave a comment, and don't forget to join our Discord, which I'll link in the description.